Welcome to Movie Damage, and we're so glad you decided to make us part of your day. I'm John, your host, and we're going to be reviewing the movie The Revenant. And let me just say, it's cold. Actually, I live in Australia, so it's bloody warm right now. The Revenant movie is directed by a gentleman called Alejandro González Inarritu. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name there. I'm not very good with pronouncing foreign names. And it was a really good movie. I'm going to say straight up, it was a really good movie. Not my personal type of movie, but it was. I still have to give credit where credit's due, and this was a good movie. Now, I'll explain why it wasn't my type of movie in a few minutes, but first I'll go into what was really good about this movie. First off, we'll talk about it. This is based off a true story, and it's about this gentleman called Hugh Glass's survival story through the wilderness of America during the colonial days. It was brutal and gritty. The way that it was filmed was very realistic, and there was a sense of dread that the environment poured onto these characters in this movie. And I will even say that the way this movie has been shot, the environment itself is literally a character throughout this movie. So I have to give credit where credit's due to the way that this movie has been filmed, to give that sort of expensive sort of terrain that it's a visual spectacular, I've got to say straight up. Now, the actors in the movie did a really good job, from Leonardo DiCaprio, who was fantastic in as the title role as Hugh Glass, and you had Tom Hardy, who played John Fitzgerald, the sort of bad guy in this movie. Donald Gleeson, who some people might remember from the Harry Potter movies, and he played Captain Andrew Henry. Now, and there was a few other people, such as Will Poitier as Bridges and Forrest Goodluck as Hawk, who's actually Leo's son in the movie. Now, I have to turn around and say everybody in this movie did a really good job under, it must have been hellish conditions filming this movie. In fact, sometimes when you're watching the movie, you can sort of tell that it's not acting that these people are doing, it's more a case of just survival and doing the best they can in the conditions that they have. So I have to take my hat off to all the people who were involved in the acting. As I said, the environment as a character in itself is brutally cold, and you can tell that this cold weather and harsh conditions has really heightened and elevated a lot of these actors. But as I said, I don't know if it was more acting, as if it was a case that these people were truly in pain and they were truly suffering throughout the filming of this movie. So, now that's it. The film is gritty. The way it's been filmed is very expensive. It's a bit of an art project, you can tell in the way it's been filmed, but that doesn't take away from it. It is a beautifully filmed movie. Just from the expensive, the mountains, to snow-covered lakes, everything is magnificent. They really have taken their time when scouting out these places that they're going to be filming. Also, they decided to use natural light for filming this movie, and this comes off because, as I said before, it's a very gloomy, gritty, very realistic sort of filming that they've done in this movie. So I take my hat off to them for that. A few other things that I thought were really good in this movie was the makeup and the attire that the people were wearing. It looked very dirty, lived in. So I have to, all around, the filmmaking of this movie was really good. Now, as I said, this wasn't really my type of movie, and I'll go into a few reasons why. One, I thought it was a little over long. But as I said, I think 20 minutes could have been cut out of this movie easy. You wouldn't have missed it, or I personally wouldn't have missed it, but that's said and done. There's also a certain sound that is constant throughout this movie, and I can understand where the director was going with this sound. He wanted to make the people feel more connected to Leo's character, but by the end of the movie, it was really tedious, and it was really annoying me. So there were a couple of things that I personally wasn't into it. As I said before, it was a bit of an art movie in the way it was filmed. I've got nothing against art movies, but as I said, they're not my personal type. I'm more in for the action and gritty. Now, one point I will say about this movie that was really, it is hard to watch in some cases because of the brutal realism that this main character has to go through. And like, as I said, from the bear attack that happens at the beginning, minor spoiler, but if you've seen the trailer, you know that happens. This character really goes through a living hell just to survive. And the way it's being put together, it was really, as I said, it's hard to watch sometimes because it is so realistic in its portrayal of this damaged individual. As I said, I don't want to give anything away, but I'll leave it at that. So as I said, for me personally, this movie could have been 20 minutes shorter, and I'd have probably enjoyed it a bit more. There's a lot of people out there who probably could have had an extra 20 minutes. As I said, it's a visual spectacular, this movie. So if you're not into visually spectacular movies of a more subtle basis, I'm not saying like a Transformers movie or something, this is a subtle visual, this is the landscapes, you're going to love it. If that sort of thing is a bit tedious to you, I'd probably wait till it comes on DVD. As I said, this is a very good movie, not my type of movie, but as I said, I still have to commend it for its inventiveness, its ingenuity, the way the actors have struggled through this movie, and when you're watching it, you can tell people have really struggled. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 because, as I said, it is a good movie, not for my liking, but I have to rate it on what this movie, not just because I like it or I don't like it, I've got to rate it on what was good about this movie, and this was a great movie. So I'll leave it at that. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, leave a message in, leave a comment, or even press the like or subscribe button because you don't know what we're going to be doing next. So thank you from everybody from Movie Damage, and peace.